You're there, say something if you're there. Hi, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to Uncut Juels. I can't remember what episode we are. I should probably be better about that, to be honest with you. But we're psyched that you're here. We've got a really fun show for you today. We're going to do a Friends of Juel Concepts thing and share with you some music that of people we love, and hopefully you do too. And in the meantime, I just wanted to share with you September is going to be packed full. Can you believe it's September? I can't believe it's like mind-blowing to me that we've gotten this far in what is probably going to go down as the craziest year of all of our lives. Yeah, so, and it's September officially. So here we are. And we're going to be doing this on Tuesdays again in September, as we talked about. And so next week, we're going to have a really fun guest, Lauren Monroe, on with us. And then after that, her and her husband, Rick Allen, have been working on some cool shit, but we're psyched because we're going to have like a real talk about where they're at with that. They've been releasing some things under her name, obviously. Lauren Monroe, shout out. And then the next week, we're going to have Latasha on. We've been working with her through Sugaroo Records, and we're psyched to talk about her new single and video and all sorts of great things that they've been doing. And then after that, we're going to have Lindsay Compton join us. And we're trying to figure out the date for that because we actually have a little bit of a conflict with a Jessica Childress live show at Hotel Cafe that night. So, which is interesting. We're going to be having her do a band performance at live at Hotel Cafe. So that's going to be on the 29th in case you guys want to grab some tickets for that. So, and in the meantime, we're going to kick off this month. Well, actually, we started that last week, technically, with Shelly and Eve. We're going to kick off this week's Uncut Juels with one of our favorite Australians, Jamie. Hi.
Hi.
Diva from Down Under, singer-songwriter Diva from Down Under. How you doing?
How you doing, Kristin?
Yeah? You doing okay?
I'm doing good. Yeah, doing good.
Yeah.
Can't beat the sunshine, and I'm glad it's not as hot as where it is where you are.
Yeah, exactly. So you're in Australia, right? But you're in the Gold Coast?
Well, currently I'm up in Doonan on the Sunshine Coast. So we're sort of between,
sorry, my bad.
But yeah, between the Sunshine Coast and the Gold Coast at the moment.
Amazing. We've known each other for a couple years now, and I'm a massive fan. I think we all had our biggest introduction with you on my birthday when you came and just blew the roof off with this a cappella song that you did. That was just stunning. I mean, everyone was like, who is that? What's going on? But you've been in Australia now. So you were living in Los Angeles, right down the street, right here in Hollywood. And then you got the call that, what happened? COVID came and Australia shut down, right? They were like, come home.
Right. Yeah. Well, basically Australia said, we're going to shut the borders, and it just started to get kind of crazy. And I wasn't taking it as seriously as I probably should have at the time. In hindsight, I'm like, well, but
I don't think anybody knew.
Oh, I don't think anyone knew, no. And the whole world was just kind of, well, you would like at that time in LA, it wasn't that crazy. And then everything just started to shut down, and there was no food in the supermarkets and queues down the street, and it all went a bit crazy. And
toilet paper.
The toilet paper shortage in Australia, of course, and then in LA, and we keep running out of toilet paper, not just here in this house, but also in Australia in general.
Yeah, I think it's been impossible to keep I've heard still you can't get toilet paper, you can't get Lysol, and something else is really challenging to anything with
antibacterial
stuff. So
right.
But you guys just like left.
Yeah, all of a sudden it was literally within the space of a couple of days, and they just the government said they were going to close the borders, which I mean Australians could still get back, but what's crazy is that now there are so many Aussies that are stranded overseas, and they're only having a small amount of flights that are going back, and only a small amount of flights are going back, and then you have to quarantine in a hotel for 14 days, which we also had to do. It's all a bit crazy, and people's flights keep getting cancelled, so people are really struggling.
Oh man, yeah. So I mean, like I just wonder if you'll even be back. You won't be back this year, probably, huh?
I don't think so. I really I've still got my apartment down the road and all my stuff in it. So if you need any clothes or any recording equipment, just pop on over there.
Come in. I know. So mind blowing to think it's just all happened so fast. And I still I remember Yo was like, she's not going to need a mask. I was like, I got a mask for her. And it was like, oh no, we're just going to go. I'm like, okay, bye.
Oh man. Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah. And Melbourne's still on lockdown,
Say again?
Melbourne is still locked down.
Yes. Well, they weren't, and then they were. We had a security bungle, and
yeah, I heard.
It's crazy. Where I am is Queensland, and we just don't have, I don't think we've got any cases, or very, very, very few cases at the moment. So lucky to be in Australia and lucky to be in Queensland in Australia. So
yeah.
But yeah,
right. Blissful background there.
Yeah, it's
real
kind of
gorgeous.
In the middle of the rainforest here, so very lucky we had somewhere nice to stay and be kind of isolated from everything as well when the zombies.
Yeah, that's great. So what have you been up to? So I know you've been releasing music. Let's talk about some fun stuff. It's been, I think, 5 singles now? 5 singles?
Yeah, I think 4 now. We've got the 5th one, I'm Queen, which we might play a little snippet of.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, that's coming out on the 25th. Yeah, so, I mean, when I came back, like I said, I really thought we'd just be back for a month. And then I applied for a grant. I got this email from We Are GC, which is just a newsletter from the Gold Coast. It talks about what's happening. And for some reason, I wasn't too stressed to open that and read that on the day we were flying out. And there was a grant application with Home of the Arts, just for mini grants to do something artistic. And I applied for that. And then when I landed, I found out that I'd gotten that. So that was great.
No, that's incredible.
It was awesome. Fast. It was super fast. And it was, the application was so easy. I think it was like a week. So maybe it was a few days into it, but yeah, the application was easy. And then it just kind of gave me the impetus to do the project I've been releasing lately with Lionel Collins. And we'd spoken about doing something, but this sort of was the kick up the butt to put it together.
That's great.
And,
so who's Lionel Collins and how do we know him?
So Lionel Collins, a film composer, and he's down the road from you as well in Hollywood.
Oh, nice.
So he's also a songwriter, and he just finished scoring Mobtown, a film over there in LA, and we'd met through SCL, the Society of Composers and Lyricists, and we just met through a mutual friend, Sean, who introduced us, and we just hung out a few times and met at a few of the events and just sort of got to know each other. And then we'd always spoken about doing something, but it wasn't really until COVID hit that we actually started the project. So
it's great.
It's kind of cool. So it was so stressful, but I just poured all my energy into that.
I mean, in a way, isn't it nice to have something to focus on while you're, this is all just so, I feel like that happened with Shelly. We were like, and then we're like, okay, just keep focused, just stay focused. Just,
totally.
Yeah.
It was the best thing. It was the best thing possible. And so many of the songs were about the stress of the situation. And so it's just
that's great.
Entries. Yeah. So it really helped because I was pretty freaked out when all this stuff happened. It felt like a war, when there was, lines down the street and then, I don't know, people, the military presence and all that sort of stuff. I mean, I didn't experience that in LA, but just watching the news, which I had to stop doing because it was just too insane. So,
yeah, it's a really hard one. So which ones, I mean, what, I was going to ask if there was any inspiration from COVID in the songwriting, because I know we'll talk a little bit about the video, which was done in COVID times. So we love to talk about how that got made. But so as far as the songs are concerned, was it I'm just wondering if Fuck This Mess might have been inspired by it.
You think?
I was listening, I'm like, this is so obviously oh God, just Fuck This Mess. Okay, so there's a song that Jamie just put out, I think it was August 26th or something like that, called Fuck This Mess, and it's available now. It's out everywhere. You should take a listen to it. It's great. I actually just added it to the Vibes for Days playlist, so you can find it on there. Super easy. Yep. And then, but it's great. It's such a great song. It's so hauntingly, like intense. You know what I mean? Like you stay with it. It's very like, yeah. So tell me a little bit about that.
It's sort of, I mean, it's also about like a difficult relationship. That's sort of I guess it's a metaphor. It is definitely about that as well. But then it's also about COVID and just the overwhelming, I mean, a lot of it is about the overwhelming feeling of just feeling like you don't have a choice. And that was the hardest thing with everything, was being forced to leave LA and forced to go back to Australia and forced to hotel quarantine and forced. Everything is like, oh, I don't really feel like I have a choice. Even getting out of the airport, you had to sign a form that said, I give away all my rights right now. Like, I'll do whatever you say. And I was like, but what if I don't? I was like, don't say anything. Just sign it.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Those waivers are dangerous too. Yeah. So you'll just put it all into this song.
Yeah, exactly. And so, so that's kind of what it was about. It's the chaos and the craziness of the world, but also about, a relationship and, just the difficulties and communication and breakdown. But it's not completely hopeless. There's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's always good.
Yeah.
At least. We need something to look forward to.
That's right.
Tired times. So, okay, so I know that was the most recent release that you had, and I'm thinking, was the first song you released In the Deep End, or that was
the
right?
first
Okay.
one.
Okay, great. Oh, there you are. Yeah, there's the artwork. So, and then In the Deep End was the one that also you released a video for.
Yeah. Well, we released
recently.
2 videos, but that was the first video, and that was that one.
Great. So let's talk about that then. So obviously this song, how was it, like, how did that come about?
So In the Deep End, again, it's about feeling completely overwhelmed and being thrown completely in the deep end. And it was literally the first song that Lionel and I wrote together as well, which is kind of cool that it was the first release. And the music video was definitely an interesting situation, because the hardest thing is when you're in isolation, you don't have access to a film crew or, a heap of locations. So this was literally shot in the bath. And my mum had come up to stay, and this was after the quarantine period. And I said, okay, I'm going to need your help with this music video. And she's like, all right, what do you need me to do? And I said, can you just pour like milk on my face in the bath? And she's like, oh, Jamie, this is going to look absolutely ridiculous. And then she came in and she just like poured this whole thing of milk on my head. And I was like, oh, thanks, Mum. And she's like, you're going to look stupid. And because she was so negative, I was like, right, I really have to make this work.
Wait, we have to watch this video for a second. Can we get the video going? Because I need to see this visual. This is insane. Wait, so when did she come in and throw the milk on your face?
Well, throughout the whole thing.
And then I love the kaleidoscope use. Yeah. Oh, here's the milk bath. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're saying she was like...
Yeah, she was like, no, this is going to look stupid. And
I think it's beautiful. I loved it.
Oh, I was super stoked with it. Because the hard thing is coming up with something that you can shoot in one location and make it look interesting and have a bit of a story. But the milk was super effective.
It looks great.
Effect at home. And we sort of went with the black and white and then flashes of color with the foresty type thing as well. So
that's super vibey.
Yeah.
It's a great video. I mean, honestly, I think you guys did a really great job. Yeah. It does look gorgeous. Thanks, Sarah. Yeah, it's gorgeous. And the song is great. I love this.
Yeah, this is one of my favorites.
Yeah. Yeah, good stuff. So at one point, like when she did the milk on you, which way did it go? Back, or because it couldn't have gone down with all that makeup and beautiful face.
Well, it did go on my face. I was like, can you just pour it in the bath? And then she kind of threw it on my face. So, she thinks she's pretty funny. Thankfully, it all worked out. Because she was so negative about it, I was like, right, I'm going to make this look really awesome.
That's so cute. Aw. And I mean, actually, we haven't really touched on this, but like you are Australian. So
Correct.
your mom is in Australia. So you actually got to go home and see your family, and you're with like your family. And so they can help out with all of this stuff too. So you have your own crew.
Yeah, well, kinda. I've got my mom.
Right.
She's the only one I sort of had present doing stuff, but yeah, it was weird because when we came back, obviously there's the whole quarantine thing, and then we didn't see anyone. And I've got friends here, and I actually I felt really embarrassed because I bumped into a girlfriend at the shops, and I was like, I haven't seen anyone. I'm really sorry. I'm not avoiding you. I just hadn't. We were taking it super, super seriously. So yeah.
Smart. That's very smart. Yeah. So it's nice that you at least had that help.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I feel bad for people who are like, isolating and trying to do production. I don't know. I've seen some interesting. Yeah. It's really tough
I had Yo as well. Without Johannes, none of this would be possible.
Yeah. No, it's great. It's good to have your peeps with you, even though, all it takes is one or two, really. It's amazing how easy. And that video is a perfect example. Like everything from the start of the kaleidoscope was just so resourceful. And clearly, I mean, you'll look back on this, and although we'll know it happened in COVID, I don't really think it is necessarily tipping its hand to that it happened in COVID. It's just an actually well-designed, thought-through video that happens to be COVID friendly.
That was the aim. That was the aim. And there were, certain songs, and Lionel was like, let's not make it too COVID-y. We just wanted to create something awesome. It didn't, although it has been inspired by this time, we didn't really want it to be a COVID album per se.
Right. Yeah. That's smart. And it's going to live. And you don't want to look back and be like, like I didn't, I think that's the whole point. It's like you don't have to sacrifice quality, during these times. And I mean, clearly, like you guys are able to produce beautiful tracks, like even remotely. So can you talk a little bit about how, like, I know a lot of people are trying to figure out how to do these, sessions remotely or writing sessions. And before you even start, like one of the things I know you do a lot about, or have done a lot before, was working with DJs and writing top lines for some great songs that, beats and things that they're putting together. And what would you work with, Dave Auday? Are there any that you want to talk about?
Yeah, Dave Auday, Stonebridge, Todd Terry, a lot of house DJs.
House DJs, yeah.
Yeah, and house and EDM. Darude, who's a big trance guy. And I just did Darude's last two singles. I think he had one out after that. He did Sandstorm, if you know. Digga digga digga.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so I mean, so obviously working with them and then doing your own thing, and then having to find a producer. So like working with Lionel and doing the sound design, and then having to do it all remotely. I mean, how did that work for you? And how have the sessions been like working remotely with each other?
Well, what's interesting is with the DJ stuff, often a label or the DJ themselves will send me a track, and I'll top line to the track. So I was sort of used to that process. Some of the guys I've worked with, we work in the studio together. Darude, for example, it was all tracks, and we had a gig in LA just before COVID kicked off at Avalon down the road, and in Hollywood. Yeah, and that was, we'd met once before really briefly, but I was just fangirling out at the time. And this is the first time we'd actually properly hung out, and we did a show together. So before that, it was all over email and so I'm kind of used to that process. Dave Auday and we worked in the studio together. He's just moved to Nashville a little while back, but we were working together in his studio, and he's awesome. He's extremely musical, and he plays a lot of stuff on the piano, and then sort of puts those things into the box. And Sultan and Ned Shepherd, I worked with them in their studio as well. So yeah, it really depends on the project, but I guess with a lot of things, people will just shoot over an instrumental, and I'll write a vocal to the track, and then it's sort of backwards and forwards from there. And that's basically how Lionel and I have worked.
Interesting.
All of the stuff we've done, he'd send over a folder of instrumentals, and then I'd get a vibe for some. And just sort of, my phone's buzzing, and just sort of went with the flow. And if I found if I felt inspired, then I'd write something to it. Some ideas were fully finished, like a fully finished song. Other ideas were just like a snippet or a sound that would inspire something. And I get really inspired by sounds. So, and Lionel has a lot of really cool dark stuff. So,
I noticed that's a very big difference for you. So that definitely felt like it went to the complete extreme for you, but it works for your vocals.
Yeah. Well, I really like putting that pretty sort of sound over something a bit darker and meshing the two together. I love that sound. I don't think there's enough of it out there.
That's great.
So that was what was really cool about this project, was not having to do something so upbeat, and also just having the freedom to do whatever the hell we wanted to do with it.
You wanted to do, exactly. Yeah, that's great. And so when you're releasing, do you think of it like, is this on brand, or is this just like you're just still exploring the sonic realm that you can live in?
Well, we kind of just fell into the sound, and it sort of organically really came together. We spoke a little bit about doing some electronic stuff, and when we first spoke about collaborating before we even started this album, Lionel's like, "Oh, I've got some dancey stuff," and I was like, "Well, I've kind of got dance music coming out of my ears, so let's try something different." And then he just played me a few things, and then we just sort of fell into this down tempo project, and he sort of keeps me in line, and I'll be like, "What if we go over here?" And he's like, "Oh, let's bring it back into this."
That's a good producer. Yeah.
No, he's great.
Because your music history is just it's pretty eclectic, but it does feel like it falls into the dance space for the most part. Yeah,
that's right. And
so how would you just go ahead? Sorry.
I was just going to say, dance has so many subgenres.
Right.
So when I first got into it, it was sort of funky vocal house, pardon me, and then then EDM stuff, and now trance, and now some more chill out stuff. So,
and now some of the what kind of? Sorry.
Chill out and down tempo.
Oh, chill out. Yeah. So so does this fall, the new stuff with Lionel, does that fall under dance chill out style music then?
I guess in a way, it's not as beat driven. A lot of chill out stuff will have, a lot of percussion at the start.
The ambient vibing. Yeah.
But so it's very easily translated into that space.
Yeah. So how would you describe it? Like, what genre are you like in for the new releases?
Each release we are like,
the best question.
We're like cinematic pop, indie pop, electronica.
I like cinematic pop. I could see that.
Yeah, that was Lionel's phrase. I kind of agree with that. But I guess the whole project is probably indie electronic, even though that never comes up on the box when we're releasing stuff.
I see.
And have to tick
the boxes. I know. We love ticking boxes, don't we?
Oh, yeah. That's my favorite thing.
So basically your sound is evolving.
Yeah, I guess so. This has definitely been an evolution, without a doubt. But I mean, I did a cover of Massive Attack's Teardrop that I just did for myself. And I guess I used that as something to sort of say, I just love this song and I want to use it to find my sound and really how do I want to sound, and stop caring so much about what everybody else wants. Because a lot of the top line and stuff as well, you're working with a label and the label's saying, "Oh, well, can you sing it like this? Or can you do it like this?" So you sort of feel less like an artist and more kind of like a pump. So yeah, it's been really awesome to explore in that sense with this project specifically, but also other tracks before this. I think I showed you some stuff before I left that I'd started working on a Paper Heart and a few other tracks with an amazing producer in LA, and I've hung on to this little project and sort of had it sitting there. And I worked on another album as well with A-List Records in the States. So the sound has sort of been evolving behind the scenes, and it's stuff I haven't released yet. But this project, when we got the grant to do it, I was just like, you know what, let's just release it. Let's just start doing it.
Yeah.
Sitting on all this music, and I just wanted to get some stuff out there, and I felt like I wasn't in control.
Yeah, that makes sense. I know, and it's perfect timing to have the writing reflect the times, the release reflect I mean, this is like the quintessential, let's go for it and see how it goes. Yeah, I was wondering where Paper Hearts fit into this. That's a great point. And even like, I know you and Hamish did that Led Zeppelin cover, which was so awesome. And right. And then, but you popped over and that was amazing. I loved it. I mean, when you sent it, I couldn't even believe it's such a beautiful, if you haven't seen it, please go. And I actually don't even know I think it's on, is it up on, we'll have to get you the link. We'll put it in the thing, but I think it's on Hamish's, it's on all of our Instagrams basically. And it's basically a Led Zeppelin song. So we met at an opera event. No, it was like a fun night, whatever. It was
fun night.
Isabel's. Yeah, it was a fun night. It was a fun night. Yeah. And lots of ladies and lots of Australians. And then I was so honored to be there. Token non-Australian person. Well, actually, Isabel's not Australian technically either. But anyway, the Led Zeppelin love that we have was like the thing that, I was like, blah, 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 blah. And then for that video to come in where you guys did the Rain song, I was just like, oh, God. Yeah. Do that because I have a microphone on. But yeah, it was amazing. It was so well done. So, but it just shows you the eclectic background that you have. So it's not like you wouldn't be afraid to write, like if someone were to send you something for like a rock song even, you're like, yeah, I could do that.
Totally. I love doing that. I love escaping and going into different genres. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily release some of that stuff myself, but to me, I mean, this is where Lionel reins me in, is because to me, like that sort of a cover, the Rain song, it sort of falls into this same sort of vibe, I guess. So that's why.
Because it was stripped back.
Yes, stripped back and my taste
almost
is
ambient.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, see, I know. And I feel like that is the thing when I listen to your music. Oh, like I definitely get that sense of like you could put this on and vibe to it. So like ambient music, and that is something obviously like we've had for decades, with DJing and all that, like putting something on when you DJ in public, a lot of times you're putting something on so that people can like you said, chill out even too. So it's really great. I don't know. I'm very fascinated with how you interact with all the different people that you're writing with, because they just all seem so eclectic, like across the board.
Right. Yeah.
That must mean that you're multifaceted.
Well,
you're like a diamond with all the gems.
Thank you.
So, okay. So how, so have you released an actual full length? Is this going to a full length album? Is that that's the build now?
Well, it started when we first decided to do this, we didn't know how fast we could put things together because we were literally flying by the seat of our pants with the sound and the tracks and I was doing all the photos and things myself as well. So, and then all the album art, thanks to Johannes. It was all done at home and by ourselves. So we didn't know if we'd have an EP or an album, and we didn't want to wait till it was finished because I know what I'm like. I'll have to wait till everything's 100% perfect. And I'm so glad we didn't. I'm so glad we just started putting it out. So we said, how about we release an album, but we release it single by single. So that's how this project has come out. And it's
how the kids are doing it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's sort of evolving as it goes as well. Like the next single that's coming out, I'm Queen, is a little bit more up tempo, and but it's still.
We're going to play a snippet.
Yeah, sure. It definitely still.
So you said it. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, I stepped on you there. Go ahead.
That's all right. Step away. We've got the international lag.
I know. You said it's up tempo, but it's still.
Oh, it's mid-tempo, but it's a bit faster than the other stuff. But that's how the album's evolving as we're releasing it, which is really kind of cool.
That's great. Yeah, no, I'd love to, if we could share a little bit, maybe a few seconds of it. I don't know if we got it queued up somewhere, but if we can play it, let us know.
Okay.
Oh, I guess we're gonna be listening. Well,
I take what I want, don't wait for a guarantee. I can feel the storm, don't need you to rescue me. 'cause I'm queen.
And then it sort of really builds.
I love that. It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah,
I can't
it's
wait to
cool.
hear it. So when does that
Yeah.
release?
That is on the 25th of this month.
Okay. So
Yeah.
September 25th. Okay.
Yeah.
So if anybody needs to pre-save, now is the time. Just
Yeah.
make sure you go over and check out Jamie and be sure to pre-save her. Yep. There we go. Good.
There we
Link.
go.
And I'm sure we'll have some links everywhere afterwards too. So in case you missed it. And if you're watching this on YouTube later, check below in the bio description of the video. So we're going to put them in there as well. Okay. So I know we only have, we're at our time, but I want to finish up with a couple questions. Okay, so outside of music, what kind of passions do you have?
Oh, well, my COVID hobby is roller skating.
Oh man, that's a good one.
Yeah, I
Great.
was just randomly going to the shop to get something completely different and walked past a skate shop and went, I'll just go in and have a look. And they had these rose gold roller skates and then these hot pink sparkly roller skates. And I'm like, this is just meant to be. Which do
I hope you got the rose gold.
Well, he said the rose gold scratch easily. So I went with the hot pink. And it was a decision made. And I have barely taken them off since I got them. Now my main goal for 2020 is to master looking good going backwards. And then we'll do a roller skating music video. So,
oh my God, yeah, that's so brave of you.
Yeah. Well, actually, yeah, I've sort of skated all my life, but just had big breaks in between. I skated as a kid. And when I was in London, I used to roller skate to rehearsals. And so I've sort of picked that up again. And I've also been working on some children's stories as well, something that's outside of music. Yeah, but still super fun. Creative. Yeah. And I just spoke to an illustrator yesterday. So I'm looking at having those published, and it's a whole new world, but I'm really excited about some of the stories.
Great. You should have some music that goes along with it.
Well, funny you should say that. One of them is musical for little babies. And
that's great.
Yeah, it's really cool. So it's completely outside of music, but it's, I guess, why I also like to branch out and just keeps everything fresh.
I think we all need something I've been gardening, and I've always had like a little terrace garden, but this year I was just like, okay, we're going to go full on, whatever it takes. So like I did spinach, kale, I have zucchinis growing, like you name it. Yeah. So like we all need something to get us. I feel like you just have to see growth somewhere. I mean, obviously it's great that you're releasing all this new music, and, I'm clearly busy too, but it's just nice that on a daily basis, you can see one thing that's just moving, growing, positive. Totally. Actually, so did we get a name for your album?
No, we came up with a name, and then who stole it? The Strokes stole it with their last album. And then we were like, you know what? We won't have a name. So far we haven't got a name. Originally it was All in This Together, and I'm like, nah, that's kind of lame. We didn't.
Wait, what's the Strokes album?
The new normal, or the new something or other. That's what we were originally going with.
You could still use that. I don't think.
Yeah, we could, but maybe we'll try to think of something.
It is kind of the new normal.
It is. I know.
I didn't even know that.
So weird.
I know. Yeah. It's so weird. Like, it's mind blowing to. I think about that night when we were at the H Club with which for Shelley's thing, and like just feels like a lifetime ago. When God. I was. Yeah, it's just.
And I was literally sitting there having a conversation, and we were like, how's this COVID thing? And she was flying out that day to London, and we're like, isn't it funny? Everybody in this room is probably talking about it now. And I was going and shaking everyone's hand, and we were like, oh no, we don't need to touch. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm like, oh, it's not that big.
Oh yeah, that was the first time when we were doing the like, oh hey, and then I think that was the night that they canceled South by Southwest too.
Yes, that's right. That's right. They canceled that, and then all the festivals, and then everything.
Yeah, all at once. Okay, so no album name, but you will let us know how things go. Before I let you go, I like to ask a question, just because you're our friend and we love you. Two questions. If someone had to listen, like if they could only listen to one song on your of all of your music so far released, what is the one song they should start with or not miss?
I really love Follow You Down. That's definitely one of my favorites from the Lionel project.
Oh, and that you released this year.
That's come out this year. Yeah, that's been one of my favorites.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. My mum didn't help out with throwing paint on my face in that one. Yeah, that's probably my favorite. And I've got a new track coming out on Aduna Beats, which is Above and Beyond's record label, that I'm really excited by with Genix. That's called Until I Find You. That's coming out in October, I believe.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
We'll definitely be sure to send some links and we'll post for you and everything too. Your official friend. You're one of our best friends. Okay, and then our last question for you. Yes, and there's her handle. Please follow her. My last question for you before I let you go. If there was one, is there a song that you were like, I wish I had written that?
Oh, there's heaps. I'd probably have to say Joni Mitchell's Case of You.
Such a good one.
It's such a beautiful song. Between that and Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
That's a good one too. That Joni Mitchell one is.
Case of You. Every time I hear it, I'm like, ugh. And the way she
was like a puddle. So good. Oh God, such a great choice.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you for doing that. Okay, now let's promote. So let's put her all of your socials up. I don't know if we've got those around. Yes. Okay, it's pretty easy. That's not an A or a U, that's a V. Jamie's very fancy. She's a JVMIE. So don't miss out on that. Yep, there's her website. Great. So please, please, please do us a favor. Please go and check her out. Follow her. Give her some love. Let her know that you saw this, anything you can. We love her dearly and we want her to come back as often as she can. And maybe we'll bring you in for another episode when we talk about other things too, just to have you kind of come in and do some perspective. But thank you for joining us. Please be safe. And we miss you. I'm sure there's like heaps of things that you miss the most, but the one thing I'm sure you don't miss is the coffee, because I'm sure you're getting really good coffee over there.
That's very true. The coffee in LA sucks, as does the traffic.
I mean, it's not this. Yeah, it's been great though. You know, we don't have traffic like that anymore now. It's like crazy.
And the smog went down as well. I
know. It's gorgeous. But you know what? There's still stuff. There's still things. Don't worry. You're not missing much. You're in the rainforest. You got it. You got it made. Yeah. Anyway, thanks again for joining us. And please, everybody, go follow her. And then don't forget, next week we've got Lauren Monroe on the show with us. So please stay tuned, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for joining. Bye. I love you.
Love you.
See you soon. Look at that hottie.
Hey.